Today I'll start the chapter number 4, that is Animal Kingdom. You all know that R.H. Whitaker classified the living organism into the five categories, five kingdoms: Monera, Protista, Fungi, and Plantae, and Animalia. In the second chapter, we have covered the Monera, Protista, and the Fungi. The third chapter is for the plant kingdom, and this fourth chapter is totally dedicated for the animal kingdom. And you know that the biologists, they had described and named approximately 1.5 million living organisms present on Earth. And out of these, approximately the 1 millions are animals. And if we say in the animals, the maximum diversity you can see in the arthropods. So in this animal kingdom, we will study what are the features and the basics of, of classification, on what basis we have further classified the animals into different phylum, because in the taxonomic categories, the highest is the kingdom, then phylum. As we move from the kingdom to phylum, there are so many phylums in this kingdom. So, what are the basis for categorization? So, and why we are doing the classification? I already told you it is easy to understand. So, what is an animal? On what basis we are saying it is an animal? It is because the animals are they are multicellular and they are heterotrophic and they don't have cell wall and they don't have the chloroplast or chlorophyll. That is the difference between the plants. You know that plants are autotrophs, they are again multicellular, they are having the cell wall and they are having the chloroplast. So that's the difference between the main difference is the autotroph and heterotroph and cell wall and without cell wall. That's the main difference. And chlorophyll, chloroplast is present only in the plant cell. Now, in spite of differences in structure and form of different animals, there are certain fundamental features that common in various individuals in relation to the arrangement of cells, body symmetry, nature of coelom, pattern of digestive, circulatory, or reproductive system. And these features are used as a basis of animal classification. There are around 30 to 40 animal kingdom phyla, but only the 11th major phyla that we'll discuss in here, and that will start from the porifera to the chordates. The higher phyla, the more as we move from the poriferan to chordates, the complexity keeps on increasing. We belong to the phylum Chordata. We are chordates. Okay? So all the phylum above the chordates, they are non-chordates. The chordates are which those who having the notochord. So one by one, we will discuss the what are the basis of animal classification. So these are the six types on what we are basis of classification of animal kingdom. Like level of organization means whether it's cellular level of organization, tissue level, organ system level of organization. Body symmetry, like it is asymmetrical, symmetrical, either radial or bilateral. Embryonic layer, like they are having diploblastic or triploblastic. Coelom, like they are acoelomate, pseudocoelomate. Metamerization, like segmentation is there or not, notochord is present or not. So these are the bits of classification. So one by one we'll discuss. Like the first one is the level of organization. So based on the organization of cells, the animals are grouped into four levels. So in this level, like the first one is a cellular level of organization. In this body shows some division of labor among cells. They are remarkably independent and can change their form and function, and it is found in sponges. Here, the body consists of many cells. They are arranged as loose cell aggregates, but the cells do not form tissue. Rather, each cell functionally active independently. In this, it is like cellular level of organization. In the tissue level of organization, the cells are arranged into the tissue. The cells performing the same function are arranged into the tissue as it is a definition of the tissue. The cells, group of cells, they are functioning together. So they are having tissue level of organization. Example in the coelentrates and cnidarians, they are having the little bit more complex as compared to poriferans, because poriferans are they are the cellular level of organization, and these coelentrates, they are having tissue level of organization. As we move further, there is organ level of organization. So in platyhelminths and other higher phyla, the tissue are grouped together to form organ, and each specialized for a particular function. That is called organ level organization. And in the organ system level organization, like from annelids to arthropods and mollusks and echinoderms and chordates, they are having organ system level of organization. The the system connected with a specific physiological function, like we are having digestive system, excretory system, reproductive system, nervous system. So we are having the organ system level of organization, and organ system is different group of animals exhibit various pattern of complexities. Like in the case of organ system of different animals show complexities. Like in the digestive system, it is in the as in the platyhelminths, it is only single opening to the outside of the body that serves as both mouth and anus, and this is called incomplete. And the complete one, like in our case, and in we are having mouth and anus, we are having a two openings. So same circulatory system is of two types. One is open, in which the blood is pumped out of the heart and cells and tissue are directly bathed in the blood. Just like a cavity, the hemophil cavity is there. And in the closed type of circulatory system, as in case of our case, the blood is circulated through the network of blood vessels of varying diameters, and the tissue remain in touch with this. So we are having closed circulatory system, and the insects and they are having the open circulatory system. On the basis of symmetry, again there is a classification. The symmetry refers to the arrangement of parts or on the opposite side of the body of the three-dimensional element. Like it is arrangement of similar body parts on two sides of main axis of the body. Like if you cut the body either in one plane, one axis into two equal halves, then it is bilateral symmetry. If you cannot cut into two equal parts, which is asymmetrical. And symmetrical is also like bilateral and bilateral and the radial symmetry. Radial means you can cut by any axis into two equal halves, like the football or ball. It's round in shape, so you can cut it at any vertical plane into two equal halves. So asymmetry is animals in which any plane pass through the center does not divide them into two equal halves. These are called asymmetrical, like sponges, mostly the poriferans. Symmetrical, they are divided into two equal parts, and they are also of two types: the bilateral and the radial symmetry. In the radial symmetry, when any plane passing through the central axis of the body divides the organism into two identical halves, it is called radial symmetry. That's found in coelentrates, ctenophores, echinoderms, and adult echinoderms, because the in when the body can be divided into two similar halves by one or two vertical planes only, the radial symmetry is called bilateral symmetry. That is C. anemone. We are also having the bilateral symmetry. Adult sponges are asymmetrical, and the bilateral symmetry is found in annelids, arthropods. Okay. Uh, then next is, you can see here the bilateral symmetry and the body of bilaterally symmetrical animals. They are having a dorsal side like our vertebral column side. Ventral side, there is our like heart and lungs. It is our ventral side. Left and right lateral side, where the dorsal and ventral they are joined together. It is lateral side. We are having two lateral sides, as it is seen in the arrow, like ventral. Basically, it is two-dimensional picture. That's why you can't see the ventral side. So it is the ventral side in this picture is just like a lateral side. You can see anterior and the posterior side of the body. Now, the next is the germinal layer. On the basis of the germ layers, these germ layers are the group of cells behaving as a unit during the early stage of embryonic development. And these germ layers differentiate to give rise to all the tissue organs of the fully formed body of individual. On the basis of germ layers, animals are classified into diploblastic or triploblastic. As the name suggests, diplo means two and triplo means three. Diplo means the animals in which the cells are arranged in two embryonic layers like external ectoderm and internal endoderm. They are called diploblastic. In addition, there are undifferentiated jelly-like layer in between the two. It is called mesoglia. Example is coelentrates, Cnidaria and Stenophora. In triploblastic animals, in the animals in which the developing embryo has a third germinal layer, that is mesoderm, in between the ecto and mesoderm, ecto endoderm, they are called triploblastic animals. All animals from phylum Platyhelminthes to phylum Chordata, they are triploblastic. On the basis of coelom, we are again dividing the animals into three: acoelomate, pseudocoelomate, or coelomate. Coelom is a body cavity. That is a body cavity between the body wall and the gut wall. You can see the coelom. It's a space between the body wall and the gut wall, just like our body is pipe within a pipe. And there is some space, and that space is called the coelom. It's a cavity. It is lined by the mesoderm. The presence and absence of coelom is very important in the classification. On the basis of coelom, animals can be classified into three. The acoelomates, where the body cavity is absent, they are called acoelomate, like poriferans, platyhelminthes, coelentrates, Stenophora, and flatworms. Pseudocoelomates, here you can see the body cavity is not lined by the mesoderm. Instead, the mesoderm is presented scattered pouches in the between the ectoderm and endoderm. Such a body cavity is called pseudocoelom, and the animals possessing them are called pseudocoelomates. Example is SK helminthes. And the next category, that is in higher organism, you will find the coelom. They are having the true coelom. They are called the coelomate, and the true coelom arrives within the mesoderm, and it is therefore lined by the mesodermal tissue externally by parietal peritoneum and internally by the visceral peritoneum. Like animals from Annelida to chordates, they are having the coelomate. Now the function of coelom is to accommodate the visceral organs. Coelomic fluid reduces the friction between the visceral organs, and it acts as a shock absorber. The next categorization is a segmentation, that is metamerization. In some animals, the body is externally and internally divided into segments, which is a serial repetition of at least some organs. Some segmentation can be following. It is a phenomenon in which the body or the organ is externally and internally divided into many repeated segments, like they are called metameres, like annelids, arthropods. Next is the notochord. It is a mesodermally derived rod-like structure. It is formed on the dorsal side during embryonic development, as you can see in the picture. Animals with notochord, they are called chordates, and those animals which do not have this structure, they are called non-chordates. Like Porifera to echinoderms, they are non-chordates, and we are chordates as we are having the notochord, and the notochord is converted into the vertebral column. We are also vertebrates. So you can say all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. Like it is the same statement, all enzymes are protein, but all proteins are not enzymes. So you have to, this is for your homework if you're listening me. So you have to tell me, justify, I'm saying you, all vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. Okay, just explain, justify this point. Now, this is a total summary. If you see at a glance, as we move from the phylum Porifera to the chordata, the level of organization from cellular, then cell tissue, then organ system, then finally it is organ system from the annelida to chordates. Same germ layer like from the diploblastic, from platyhelminthes is triploblastic, and after all are triploblastic. Symmetry in the starting they are asymmetrical, then radial, and after that they are all are bilateral. Exceptions are there, but mostly they are bilateral all. Like from the Cnidaria to Stenophora, they are radial. Then platyhelminthes से सारे के सारे नीचे वाले क्या है? They are bilateral. Coelom in the starting of they are acoelomate like poriferans, Stenophora, Cnidaria, platyhelminthes, and the SK helminthes they are pseudocoelomate, and after Annelida. So from Annelida to Chordata, there are many things in common. They are having organ system level of organization. All are triploblastic, all are bilateral symmetry, all are coelomate. Okay. So today we'll discuss about the first phylum of the kingdom, that is the Porifera. Whenever we discuss any phyla, we will discuss like this. First point is grade, level of organization, body symmetry, germinal layers, coelom, habit and habitat, digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system, reproduction, unique features, and example. So here you will see the phylum Porifera. They are having first of all cellular level of organization. The name phylum Porifera names from the pore. Their body is having the pore. That's why they are called Porifera. They are having the pore bearing animals. They are the first and the most primitive group of the multicellular animals. They are referred to as poriferans. They are pore bearing animals. And these come under the category of non-chordata because they are non-chordates. And they are the primitive multicellular animal, most commonly called the sponges. Their habitat is mostly marine. Some are freshwater habitat also, like Spongilla. And the study of poriferans is called the parazoology. The shape and size of these poriferans sponges ranges from 1 centimeter to 1 meter. They are mostly irregular shape. Some show radial symmetry. Body wall consists of outer dermal layer, that is spinacoderm, and the inner gastral layer, that is called canoderm. And they are having the canoderm consists of spherical cell with collar formed with a flagellum emerge out. Hence, they are called flagellated cell or collar cells. They are acoelomate. They are diploblastic. Digestive system is absent. They are having intercellular digestion. Respiratory system absent. Circulatory system absent because they are having cellular level of organization. The they are having digestion absent. Circulation is absent. Respiration just by the body surface by diffusion. Excretion is also by diffusion by body surface. They don't have any organ. They don't have any tissue level of organization, so they don't have the organ. And they excrete in the form of ammonia. They don't have sensory organ. Asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction both are there. They are hermaphrodite, bisexual, monoecious. Male and female sex organs are present in a single individual. They are internal fertilization. Development is indirect. Like the their child or embryo is is not similar to the adult one. Like in our case, we are having the direct development. The baby or child is having the face similar to the adult one. So in this their case, indirect development. And the unique feature for this poriferans, they are having a water canal system. That water enters through the millions of minute pores, that is ostia, in the body wall into the central cavity, that is called spongiocele, from where it goes out through the osculum. You can see the structure. One is the LS, sorry, longitudinal section you can see here, and the canal system is used for food gathering, gas exchange, or removal of waste. So water moves from the ostia, then spongiocele, then osculum, then water out. So this is all used for digestion, circulation, respiration, excretion. They have only these kind of things. Spongiocele and canals are lined by the canocytes. They are collar cells. See how they are present. Body supported by spicules and spongin fibers. Amoeboid cells are there. They are helping in the digestion. Okay. So these are the examples of poriferans. So at a glance, if you see, they have a cellular level of organization, mostly asymmetrical. Some are radial, diploblastic, acoelomate, mostly aquatic, matlab marine, absent, digestive system absent, respiratory absent, circulatory absent, reproduction by the asexual and asexual method. They are hermaphrodite, internal fertilization, development is indirect. Unique feature is water canal system. They are having millions of ostia. Spongocele and canals are lined by the canopsites. Body supported by spicules and the spongin fibers. Examples: Icon, Spongia, and Euspongia. The next phylum is Cnidaria. Okay, Cnidaria, the other name is Coelenterata. They are having a tissue level of organization. As we move from the poriferans to Coelenterata, then there is a little bit complexity increase. They are having poriferans are having cellular level of organization. They are having tissue level of organization. Poriferans are symmetrical. Only few are radial, but here is a radial symmetry. They are diploblastic. They are acoelomate, just like the poriferans. They are exclusively marine, but some few of them are freshwater also, like hydra. They are aquatic, sessile, solitary. The digestive system is incomplete. They are only having one opening. Intracellular, extracellular digestion, respiratory, circulatory systems, they are absent. And the main thing in this is that reproduction, the Coelenterata reproduce both asexual and sexual method. In many cnidarians, the polyp usually reproduce asexually by budding to give rise to medusa, and medusa bears gonads or sex organ and produce sexually to form the polyp. पॉलिप मेडुसा बना रहा है, मेडुसा पॉलिप बना रहा है, और मेडुसा और पॉलिप जो है दे आर द डिफरेंट शेप्स, दे आर द टू डिफरेंट शेप्स. पॉलिप इज कप शेप, मेडुसा इज अम्ब्रेला शेप. पॉलिप इज sessile cylindrical structure with mouth and tentacle facing upward. Medusa is free swimming zooid with mouth and tentacles facing downward. इसमें क्या होता है? अच्छा, मोस्ट आर सेक्सेस सेपरेट होता है, यूनिसेक्सुअल है, एक्सटर्नल फर्टिलाइजेशन है, डेवलपमेंट इंटरैक्ट. वहां पे आपको याद होगा पोरिफेरस में इंटरनल डेवलपमेंट, इंटरनल फर्टिलाइजेशन थी, और दे आर हर्माफ्रोडाइट. यहाँ पे जो उनके यूनिक फीचर्स हैं, द टेंटिकल्स आर द फिंगर लाइक स्ट्रक्चर, तभी हम नीडोब्लास्ट बोलते हैं निडेरियंस. द टेंटिकल्स आर फिंगर लाइक स्ट्रक्चर विच सराउंड द माउंट ऑफ Coelenterata used to food, capture and defense. And nidoblast, the nidarians or nidocytes, they are stinging cells. They are present on the tentacles and the body with a poisonous food called nematocyst. That capsule name is nematocyst. Nidoblast is used for encourage defense and to capture prey. See the structure of nidoblast. Okay. Unique feature, a gastrovascular cavity that is called coelentron with an opening mouth on a hypostome, that is there. They are the two unique features. One is nidoblast and the gastrovascular cavity, that is coelentron. One form is, the left one is a polyp form, the other is medusa. As you can see the tentacle and the mouth position. One is, there is a unique feature. There are two type of body forms in the cnidarians. One is polyp, it is tubular, attached, asexual form with upward directly mouth and tentacles. Medusa is umbrella like, free swimming sexual form with downwardly directed mouth and tentacles. इसमें भी अल्ट्रेशन ऑफ जनरेशन है, बट इट इज नॉट लाइक प्लांट्स कि वहां पे हैप्लॉइड डिप्लॉइड है, डिप्लॉइड प्लांट बना रहे हैं. बट यहाँ पे जो अल्ट्रेशन ऑफ जनरेशन है, दैट इज द एसेक्सुअल फॉर्म. यहाँ पे क्या, इट इज अ फिनोमेना शोन बाय सम निडेरियन इन विच द पॉलिप प्रोड्यूस मेडुसा asexually and medusa form the polyp sexually. That is different from alteration of generation in plants. This is called metagenesis. The cnidarians complete their life cycle through two phases, that is asexually reproducing polyp phase and sexually reproducing medusa phase. The cnidarians which exist in both forms exhibit alteration of generation. That is called metagenesis. So from today, I think it is okay. From my side, my corals have the skeleton made up of the CaCO3. These are their unique features, and tomorrow we will discuss the next phylum. That is, this is at a glance like this Nidaria, tissue level of organization, radial symmetry, diploblastic, acoelomate, aquatic, incomplete digestive system, respiratory, circulatory absent, reproduction, polyp reproduce asexually and medusa sexually, unique feature, tentacles and cnidoblast. Tomorrow, we'll discuss the phylum Stenophora. They are called comb jellies or sea walnut. Up to now, if you have any question, you please ask. Sir, please allow them to ask the questions.